One evening, Thomas brought his last Topham Hatt to the junction. Percy was glad to see him. Topham Hatt, are you on your way to the big station, Thomas? Yes, I am. Why? Because I'm going there, too. I think something's up. Toby looked up at the Topham Hatt. Where? Not up. Down here, laughed Thomas. Up there. How can something... When it's down, it'll be up. Thomas was too excited to explain. Bust my buffers. Look over there. Mavis, Oko, Bill, Ben, Donald, Oliver, and Douglas paraded past. Good evening, you three, whistled Donald. Aren't we all a fine sight? Very splendid indeed, admired Toby. Sorry we can't stop. Sir Topham Hatt wants us all together at the station. What is this about? Asked Thomas. Sir Topham Hatt has a hat, answered his driver. Come on. So they followed the other engines to the big station at the end of the line.
Okay.
Called Sir Topham Hatt. I have an important letter to read from a little girl who is 5 years old. Dear Thomas and all the engines.
As your counselor, I'm here to tell you about drugs and alcohol and why they're bad, okay?
But my mommy says there aren't any
drugs and alcohol
in my house. Can you come to the station instead? Thank you very much. It seems, continued Sir Topham Hatt, that there are many girls and boys who would like to meet you. Therefore, we are all going to the junction. Hooray! Hooray! The engines whistled. Silence! Other engines will be working here while you are away, so please show them what to do. As Annie and Clarabelle were going to the big city, too, Thomas and Oliver practiced with some other coaches. Thomas grew more and more excited.
You get your ass out there and you find that fucking car.
I'm glad I'm a splendid engine, he puffed. Bertie thinks I'm really useful. I had a race with Sir Topham Hatt once. I whooshed through the tunnel and stopped an inch from the buffers. Then Thomas made his mistake.
To infinity and beyond!
Don't! Don't!
No one was hurt, but Thomas's was badly bent. They telephoned to Sir Topham Hatt.
I'm taking it back for the black man to make up for all the shit that you motherfuckers have taken from us. Do you know that I came up with the idea for Sesame Street? I came up with it before PBS. The white man stole it. That's right. I was gonna call it NWP, Niggas with Puppets. Catchy, ain't it?
I'll send up the workmen, he said. Poor Next morning, the engines waited at the junction. Toby and Percy were each on a truck, and Duck had pushed them into place behind Edward. Gordon, James, and Henry were waiting to lead off. They whistled impatiently. Sir Topham Hatt looked at his watch.
Drugs and alcohol.
I'll wait 1 more minute for Thomas, then we have to go. Oh, thank goodness you're still here, panted Thomas. I hope we're not late, as it's just after 8 o'clock. The conductor blew and waved his flag, whistled. The engines cheered. Look out to the junction. Here we come.
To infinity and beyond!
Later in the big city, all the engines were lined up in a splendid shed. The children were delighted.
Find that fucking car!
I'm glad the little girl wrote to us, whispered Thomas to Percy. Isn't it wonderful what happiness Sir Topham Hatt can bring?